Hey folks, had Strafe and Set It Off. Man, that was one of the biggest club hits there ever was. Every time. Back in the day when that song came on, I was on the dance floor. In fact, I can remember back to 1991, Club Strawberries. Anybody remember that club? Luther Campbell from 2 Live Crew owned a piece of that club, and it was on Miami Beach. And that song came on, forget about it. I was out there with the rest of the people we were partying. I was in my young 20s then. Hey, I'm going to give you a little bit more of this great song. I know you guys remember it. Set It Off. Set It Off. Hey folks, this is Bad Brad Berkowitz, the host of the Bad Brad Berkowitz Show. And this is another RSR video email bag where we take your questions and we answer them. Forget about it. Now, before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the RSR YouTube channel so you can see all these videos. What are you sitting there watching me for right now? Go subscribe already. Forget about it. Without further ado, let's get to your questions. Let me get comfortable here for this camera. First question is, Bad Brad, love the show and the honesty you put in your answers to your viewers. You had me on the floor yesterday doing Quick's RSR video email bag with the cowboy hat on, and you now being called the Forget About It Kid. Or I'm sorry, look at it, I said Forget About It Kid because we do have a Forget About It Kid. The Forget About It Cowboy, that's right. When I do Quick's RSR video email bag, I am his sidekick. I am the Forget About It Cowboy. So forget about it. All right, he goes on to say, are you covering the fights in Joplin on the 29th? If so, I want to buy you a beer. My question is, do you think Tommy Morrison, who is my favorite fighter of all time, career was affected by him having AIDS, or do you feel that he gets credit for what he did in the ring? Signed, Jake F. from Jay, Oklahoma. Well, JF from Jay, Oklahoma. I think Tommy's from Jay, Oklahoma, if I remember correctly. First of all, yes, Debbie and I will be covering the fights on the 29th, Four-State franchise in Joplin, Missouri. It's going to be our first time there covering the fights. They were actually postponed earlier this month because Trey Lippy Morrison suffered an injury, who was actually, as we know, Tommy Morrison's son. Excuse me. Now, to your question, Jake, about Tommy Morrison, I'm going to give you two train of thoughts here, and they go like this. First of all, because of the AIDS situation and a lot of the people in the media who aren't worth a damn, and I'll be the first one to say it about them, because there's a lot of them that do unscrupulous things. They're going to want you to remember him for being the guy in Rocky V and boxing, but they're going to want you to remember him dying of AIDS. Okay? It's just the way it is. I'm calling it as honestly as I can. Then you're going to have the other group of people, and I'm in that other group, and I'm going to tell you here why. His personal life was and always will be his personal life. I'm not his judge. The man upstairs is. So I'm not going there. How I judge Tommy Morrison is like this. What did he accomplish in the ring? And what he accomplished in the ring was this. He was the WBO heavyweight champion of the world. He defeated George Foreman in 1993 in a performance that shocked everybody, including me, because we thought he would get bombed out because he had been bombed out by Ray Mercer. But what did Tommy do? He reinvented himself. He boxed. He boxed Foreman. He boxed his ears off, and he wound up winning that fight. Some people said it was boring. I don't look at it as boring. I look at it as it was a smart move by Tommy to do that. He's going to be a champion in the history books forever. And back then, the championship belt still meant something. Okay? So, true boxing pundits are going to remember his win against Razor Ruddock. Sure, we remember the Ray Mercer fight and remember the Michael Bent because it's all part of his career, but that's okay because he had a lot of ups and he had some downs, like most fighters do. But I personally am going to remember Tommy Duke Morrison like this, as what he accomplished in the ring. So to me, and any true boxing pundit that calls himself a true boxing pundit is not going to talk about the personal stuff because it needs to stay where it is and talk about his ring accomplishments. Okay? There's your answer as honestly as I can answer it. Jake F. from Jay, Oklahoma. Next question, folks. Bad Brad. I heard the evil Don King owns Ricardo Mayorga and his fight with Shane Mosley is off. Is that true? Signed, Hector G. from Pomona, California. Well, Hector G from Pomona, California, forget about it. I've been reading that too. And I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, the fight is a joke. I've said that already on a previous show. Pay-per-view, pay-per-screw, pay-per-screw. I'm not buying it. You shouldn't buy it, and nobody should buy it. It's a joke. It doesn't even belong on cable TV, let alone. It should be on PBC, if that. To be honest with you, they're both shot. Now, is the fight off? Not to my knowledge. However, this is Don freaking King we're talking about, okay? They're not going to take him to heaven, and he's too screwed up to go to hell. So I'm not going to mess with him, are you? He will probably get the fight stopped. I would not be shocked or surprised, same thing, if he gets the fight stopped. And you want to know something? As much as I don't like Don King, I do give him props for promoting, but as much as I don't like his antics, I'll be honest with you, I hope he does get the fight stopped, because it's a pay-per-screw and it doesn't belong on pay-per-view. All right, pal? There's the answer to your question. Last question. Bad Brad. Excuse me. I'm a huge fan of Michael Nunn. Recently, your writer, Chris Bendick, did a great article on him and the possibility he may get out of jail. What do you think? And do you think he deserves to be in the International Boxing Hall of Fame? Signed, Gabriel S. from Davenport, Iowa. Gabriel S. Great question. I've never been asked about Michael Nunn. First of all, Chris nailed that. Man of few words. Yeah, right. Forget about it. He doesn't do anything short. He's a man of so many words. That's why we gave him that nickname, because it's a play on the fact that his articles are this long. But they're fantastic nonetheless. The laws on the books are so messed up, okay? You have guys that do certain level crimes that get too much time, and then you have other guys that do certain crimes that get too little of amount of time. I don't know Michael's case inside and out, so I'm not going to speak as an attorney, because first of all, I'm not one. However, if the law gave him too much time, if that is in fact what they deem, then he should be released, okay? He should be released. He's not going to be able to fight anymore. He's in his 50s now, okay? Should he go into the International Boxing Hall of Fame? To my knowledge, they don't judge by what a fighter does outside of the ring. If they do, I don't know about it, okay, for the criteria. I used to be a voter for the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and all you did was pick which fighters that they had listed on the ballot that you thought should be in. Now, should he go in? Abso-freaking-lutely. His career merits it. He was a tough fighter, fantastic, very exciting, okay? He made some mistakes, okay? People make mistakes. Now I want to see what happens when he gets out. Hopefully he'll lead the straight and narrow, okay? Everybody that makes a mistake, to a certain extent, depending on what the mistake is in crime, deserves a second chance, okay? And I'm not going to get into the jailhouse mentality and harsher crimes and all of that, because that's a whole separate show. And I really don't talk about that stuff on camera, because I have my own certain beliefs, and I would talk to someone in person so I wouldn't be misinterpreted on what I was saying. But yes, I think Michael Nunn, Michael second to Nunn, should go into the International Boxing Hall of Fame once he's released from prison. We'll see what happens. I guess the verdict is still out on him getting out and if he gets nominated, okay? All right, folks, that's another RSR video email bag. Make sure if you want to get on the show, we don't cherry pick. Send your questions in to Ringside Report 2014@gmail.com. That's Ringside Report 2014@gmail.com. And as we always do, forget about it. It's another show in the can. And as Frank Sinatra sang so eloquently, so long ago, the best is yet to come. Bad Brad out.